to our monthly zoning board of appeals meeting. Today is Thursday, December 7th. This is the executive session. We have 4 items on the agenda. The first is the approval of minutes of Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconds. Second. We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Just vote by acclamation.
I can't vote. I have to abstain because I wasn't here.
So we have 4 positive votes and 1 abstention. Thank you. That's been approved. The second item is the approval of the secretary's fees. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded?
Aye.
Seconds.
Everybody raise your hand.
You could
You can vote on this one.
vote.
First official vote gets her paid. That makes her happy.
Not me.
Jody paid.
That's 5. That's been approved. We move on to number 3. Item on the agenda, public hearing dates and submission closing dates for 2024. I believe these have been posted to the website. Is that correct?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Somebody seconds.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? No, so that passes. Okay, the 4th item of our agenda on the executive session is the election of officers pursuant to town charter. We have to elect this today, a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary. And I'm open to nominations for chair.
I nominate Brian.
Thank you. And if anyone second?
I'll second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Second. Let's put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Any nays or abstentions?
should abstain by right.
No, so
Yeah.
it's been approved. Brian, you are our chairperson. So there you go.
Thank you very much. And my first act as chair will be to call for a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Katie O'Grady.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions, nays. Congratulations, vice chair. You are now vice chair. We had to wring our arm to do it, so.
Presumptive.
Now the pressure's on. I got a name tag. Our final vote order is for secretary.
Nominate Jay.
Second,
Second.
Harold seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Vote carries unanimously. There are no nays and there are no abstentions. So congratulations, Jane. Congratulations, Katie. Looking forward to working with all of you over at least the next year. Thank you very much. And now for the evil bits of duty that we all get to do. We have 5 minutes to wait. But what I am going to do for those waiting and those listening online. Oh, Chris is online today. Fantastic. Attorney Russo is online. If you are here right now for our continued docket number 14 or our continued docket number 4, those items will not be heard today. Continued docket number 14, which is 4185 Black Rock Turnpike, has been continued to January 4th. And I will say this again once the meeting starts officially, just to be sure no one else comes in. Item number 4, which is 53 Rhoda Avenue, has been withdrawn. On our regular docket today, numbers 3 and 10 have also been continued, and they will be heard on January 4th. So if you are here for those items will not be heard today. I don't see anybody running for the hills, so we'll assume that we're in pretty good shape. We have 5 minutes. So everybody's good with me kind of. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. I am the newly minted chairman. So the zoning board of appeals meeting will now come to order. First, when a matter is first called, the applicant or his or her agent will present the case. Once the call is complete, originals of any petition should be given to our clerk, Jody, sitting right down there. Copies of the petitions should then be distributed to the board members. After the applicant's presentation, all interested persons in favor of the application will come forward to speak. After those in favor have spoken, those in opposition can be heard. The applicant or his or her agent may then address comments made by those in opposition. I, as chair, will reserve my right to make sure that those comments pertain directly to the questions or opposition presented. It's not a time to entirely restate your case. Second, this meeting is being taped as required by law. It is important that we be able to understand the tape. Therefore, if only one person may speak at a time, that would be greatly appreciated. And anyone who speaks must come forward to speak in the microphone and give his or her name and address for a matter of record. Welcome the comments of all interested persons, but we must first exercise discretion in making sure that your comments are on the point. And if you are too far off the point, I will reserve the right as chair to restrict your comments at any time. Third, applicants and interested persons may remain in attendance after the public hearing. Let's see if that was my computer, probably. After the public hearing for the executive session to find out what was decided. Or you may call the zoning office tomorrow to find out what was decided. My predecessor in this chair and I both agree strongly that your sticking around to hear how we deliberate on your case may be very valuable to you. We strongly suggest that you stick around. It's not a time to make any further comment, but at least if for whatever reason we don't find in your favor, your hearing our deliberations will at least give you some perspective. Fourth, if an application for a waiver is granted, the waiver is not valid if the notice is not recorded. The applicant must bring a check in the amount of $60 made out to the town of Fairfield to the zoning office on Wednesday or later following the meeting. Proper recording of the notice of filing. Any waiver involving construction of a new dwelling and additions or exterior alterations will require an as-built survey prior to the issuance of certificate of zoning compliance and a certificate of occupancy. Is anybody else hearing that? Yeah,
It's coming from outside.
I can't tell if it's the microphone or if it's.
Right here, but I don't know if that's.
I just want to make sure that we're not obstructing the record in any way. That's,
Turn the heat on.
well, that's probably what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's down here somewhere. So those are the official comments and opening of the meeting. What I want to offer to everyone, and I'll do this at the beginning of every meeting, is the expectation that we have as a board of all petitioners before this board. It's our expectation that you have read and understand the requirements for seeking a variance for the town of Fairfield. Your variance must be tied to a hardship that is relevant to the land. We understand and respect that most people want to do something different with their house. A lot of houses or businesses exist as pre-existing non-conforming structures. But your hardship should not be represented in, I need more room for our growing family or a sick elder or what have you. We are required by law to tie any variance to a hardship that exists with your property. Those outlines are available when you pick up your application for a variance. If you have any trouble understanding them, I know that Mr. Decker will help you. And if you are not entirely confident at the time of your presentation. My colleague Jane is always very, very readily available to guide you in the right direction. Her questions are always very valuable. Our questions are never to try and dissuade you or confuse the issue. We will simply do what we need to do to ascertain all aspects. The second thing that our board does is weigh your variance against the comprehensive zoning plan for the town of Fairfield. People of the town of Fairfield have asked us to look after that comprehensive zoning plan and to maintain Fairfield and grow Fairfield in a very specific way that they have laid out. It is the wish of the town that we do so. So those are the characteristics that we will look for in your applications. Have any questions of us, feel free to ask them. We will certainly be free asking you questions about your applications. With that, as I mentioned prior in our executive session, there are 4 items that will not be going forward today. If you are here for any of those items, will not be hearing what you came here to hear today. Number 14, our continued docket has been continued to January 4th. What's that? Oh, I can give the address. That's good. That, the address of that application is 4185 Black Rock Turnpike. Number 4 on our continued docket, 53 Rhoda Avenue, has been withdrawn. That application will no longer be heard by this board. On our regular docket, number 3, 1376 Pequot Avenue, has been continued to January 4th. And number 10, 380 Pine Creek Avenue, has been continued to January 4th. Those items will not be going forward today before this board. So that brings us to general docket number 1. That is 92 Shoreham Village Drive, map 130, parcel 217. Petition of Prime Time Properties LLC for a variance of the zoning regulations section 5.2.4 to reduce the street line setback from 30 feet, currently 21.6 feet, proposing 28.6 feet. Permission to construct a second floor dormer. Premises is a zone.
I am representing the owners of the house and their contractor, actually.
Your name and address, please.
Shana K. Moore, 20 Ocean Avenue, Stratford, Connecticut.
Thank you very much.
My clients bought the house with the hopes of adding a dormer over the existing footprint of the house, that purple section, which is actually set back at the 28.6 feet existing. The dormer is directly above that. It's technically a 2-bedroom house. They're a family of 4. I know you said earlier. But they both work from home. That's on my application too, that I submitted to Matt. So I was not.
You are only the first of many.
I've never been before, okay? And Matt has to put me first, so I'm like, probably a little embarrassed right now, but anyway, so that is, it's a tiny house. They looked for over 18 months. Price point in Fairfield, as we all know, is gone through the roof. I was very instrumental in them purchasing this house, with the intention of putting that dormer on there. So I'm going to take some responsibility for that because we didn't have a survey on it, and thinking that we could just go straight up with a master bedroom and an added bathroom would be helpful. They both work from home also. One's an agent, he's actually in finance, and they are strictly home other than when she's showing houses, but they do work from home. So the front left, which is what is the 21 point something feet, that is actually a little tiny home office with a little bathroom behind it. And it's 2 other bedrooms in the house only. it was sold as a three-bedroom house. Up above, there's a split level. There's actually a quote-unquote bedroom there, but there's no legal egress to it. It's a skylight. So it was never really a bedroom. But they were using it as a bedroom and they sold it. So that's how it was sold. But technically, it's a two-bedroom house. So we are looking for that dormer area up there for master bedroom, bath, and two egress windows. That's it, really.
Okay.
So that's what I'm requesting.
So I see that you submitted petition. You guys talked to the neighbors. And got some signatures.
I got all the signatures except for two. We've knocked on their door half a dozen times, including today. And they're home, they don't open the door.
Okay.
So I've gone there and my office manager's gone there. They don't answer the door.
I will ask at this time if there is anyone here to speak in favor of this application. Oh, yeah, I guess we could ask questions of her. We'll do that first. I know. Nice. It's like I'm home. So does the board have any questions? Of course you do. Go right ahead.
I know you're going to be asked about hardship, but I also would like to point out for your benefit that you have a pre-existing undersized lot. Smaller than what it's supposed to be in that zone. So that's.
Oh, thank you.
So if you would please state for the record.
I didn't think I needed it for $2,500, so. State for my record that the pre-existing non-conforming lot.
Yes.
I state that.
Yes, so stated, so heard. Anyone else have any questions on the application?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
Just for clarification, the current setback is 21.6 feet. And you're requesting to increase that setback.
No, so it's a little complicated how it's written on there because the 21.6, Matt, are you doing that? Is the left side of the house.
Yes.
And that's 21.6 pre-existing. That's what was there or what is there. But what I'm building is that purple lot, which is actually set back at 28. Which is existing. I'm going straight above that.
Right, that's what I understood. So you're actually going within the current setback.
Correct. I'm staying within the setback, yes. Even
Staying
though
within
I'm,
the current setback.
but yes. I
I
am.
understand. Okay,
Just the way it's built now.
yes.
Ape that's going like this,
Well, yes.
That's all.
within the same footprint, correct?
Correct, yes. Although the code's supposed to be 30, but it's 1.4 feet. I'm asking for 1.4 variance.
Yep.
1 foot. 1.4.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Hearing none. Anyone here to speak out of favor with this application? Anybody here to speak against this application? Making up words. Opposition is good enough. Seeing none online, hearing none in the room, matter is closed. I'll try not to whack the gavel so hard at everybody else.
Don't break it.
Lord.
My first, I got about 150 pounds on the previous chairman. My hand's a little heavier. Item number 2, 1220 Fairfield Beach Road, map 184, parcel 222. Petition of Colin and Karen Hagan for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 11.1, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 18.3%, proposing 22.5%. Permission to construct a rear deck with stairs. Premises is B zone. Thank you for coming. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Colin Healy. My company is Colin Design LLC. I'm located at 107 Floral Way in Stratford. I'm here to represent Karen Hagan and Colin Hagan for their property, as you said, at 1220 Fairfield Beach Road. So the issue here is we have an existing deck that is aged that came with the house. The Hagans recently purchased their house and we'd like to tear down the deck to make it a better deck, safer and large enough to use for entertaining. The current deck just barely holds the deck furniture. So what we're proposing is to take down the existing deck, put up the new one that is slightly larger. There are a couple of elements about the property. What you're seeing over there is the original survey, which shows the area of the lot at 9,400 square feet. And given that we would be able to, if it weren't for two site conditions, one is the coastal jurisdiction line, which has reduced the total area that we're allowed to build on to about 9,238. And a second, which is a pedestrian easement, which has further reduced the buildable lot area to 8,215, be able to build a deck of the size that we're proposing. So when we look at, if you want to stop.
What would you like to go to?
Go back to the one that shows the existing house. You can see that there is a fair amount of room around the house. The lot to the left of it is used by the owners who are on the shore side of the road. They use it only for parking every now and then. And on the other side, if you go back to the original survey, Matt, please. Sure. See that the pedestrian easement is in that sort of flag-shaped area on the top right. Let's go all the way to the last slide, please, Matt. We will see the proposed plot plan. The shaded area in the upper left-hand corner is the pedestrian easement. And the shaded area towards the center is the size of the deck that we're proposing. Both of these site conditions are invisible from the street. Two reasons. One is that they're at the back of the property. And secondly, there is a fence across the driveway right alongside the house that blocks any view of the deck. The deck is hidden by the house and the fence. So in terms of impact on the neighborhood of this larger deck, it would be largely invisible. And the pedestrian easement is off to the right-hand side of the property. So they're building the deck couldn't affect the use of the pedestrian easement. That's still allowing people to come back and forth from the road to the creek to have access to that. And the other element of the way of the deck that we're proposing is that unlike a solid structure with a roof and a regular foundation, this would have minimal impact because the deck boards are spaced. The construction of the deck is with piers rather than a full foundation. So there's very little effect on the environment. Any water falling on the deck is absorbed by the ground. So it's our contention that without either of these rather invisible constraints, we would have the ability to build a deck of the size that we're proposing. If it weren't for these two constraints, the deck is within the size that it could be built on for a lot of 9,400 square feet.
Does the board have any questions?
Just as a to clarify, to get to that pedestrian easement, does your neighbor also have a pedestrian easement that connects to the?
Yes. Yes. So it's completely clear. They don't have to walk inside the fenced area of my client's property at all.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions? Okay. Do we have anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Sure, you're welcome to speak, but I'm gonna tell you, you did a pretty good job.
Thank you. I'm not gonna mess that up here.
Okay, good plan. I see none online. Oh, Harold, go right ahead, sir.
Are there any plans to enclose the deck?
There are no plans to enclose the deck. And it's not being built with a foundation that would support that.
See, thank you very much.
Okay. The next thing I need to ask, is there anyone here in opposition of this application? Seeing none online, seeing none in the room, this application is now closed. Is that better?
Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to make anybody jump out of their chair. Number 3 has been continued. So we move to number 4. Call 510 Mill Hill Road, map 228, parcel 10. Petition of Matthew Juriga. Shot. For a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.5 to increase lot coverage from 10%, currently 9.81%, proposing 11.18%. Permission to construct a 2-story addition to attach the existing detached garage for the primary dwelling. Premises is AA zone. Mr. Juriga is here for his own application.
For all the petitions, you guys want these?
If you have copies for everyone, you can hand them out. Much. Got 2.
My name is Matt Juriga. I am the owner, 510 Mill Hill Road in Southport. The project is basically connecting a detached 2-car garage that currently exists to the to the current structure of the house, and doing so finishing the garage in the space above it. There's also going to be a 12 by 16 shed that I'm proposing to put in the back, or behind the garage where that purple box is there. He put in a pool last year, and in doing so, did a lot of excavation, a lot of obviously work that went into that, and this is just kind of the next step in the process where we're trying to finish this patio and complete this this space. Probably also pertinent that we've had these architectural drawings for a little while, and before doing the patio, and kind of kept this in mind, and did a pretty extensive water detention, rainwater detention system. There's one in the back yard, and then also a separate one in the front yard. I don't know if I have drawings of those on there, but that was all run through the engineering department and approved and everything. That was finished about 3 months ago, so. This is kind of the next phase of remodel and a 12 by 16 shed.
Board have any questions for Mr. Juriga?
Hardship?
It is a non-conforming property, AA zoning, about 0.6 acres. So don't know if that qualifies or what, but,
Sounds like you're saying it's a pre-existing
Pre-existing,
non-conforming
yeah,
because it's only half this, less, almost
exactly.
half of what it should be.
And about another pertinent bit of information, about a year and a half ago, I purchased about a 0.1 acre. It's kind of confusing, but it's like a dog leg of land from the neighbor that was on the 555 Terrace side. That was, yeah, kind of where Matt's pointing to over there. That used to be all wooded and was just kind of overgrown trees and branches and in pretty rough shape. And so we kind of took all those trees down, cleared the land, and to make it a little more conforming. It used to be a half of an acre, but now it's about 0.6. And also, you know, the footprint, it doesn't really extend beyond, other than the shed that's gonna go back there. The footprint, of the main renovation part is really connecting that small awkward triangular space there. So there will be a foundation that goes in there with like a crawl space and built above to tie in the two levels. The above garage will be finished into a master bedroom.
I just have one question. Half of it's for you and half of it's for Matt, but I'm going to start with Matt. Matt, on the call, I did not read anything about a shed. Am I assuming that that is because it's
Compliant,
compliant,
and it's part of the lot coverage.
part of lot coverage? Okay,
So that's included in what you had indicated for the increase of lot coverage.
okay,
The setback is compliant though.
okay. Just wanted to make sure. So we don't need to consider that. Any further questions from the board? Do I see or hear anyone in presence or online in favor of the application? Not. Do I see or hear anyone online or present in opposition to this application? I do not. Matter is closed. On to number 5. 301 Catherine Terrace, map 182, parcel 344. Petition of Gerald Soltis and Lee Ann Sterling for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.4, to reduce the sum of 2 sideline setbacks from 20 feet, currently 31.1 feet, proposing 17 feet. Permission to construct a 2-story and second floor additions. Premises is B zoned.
Good afternoon, Lee Saltis, 301 Catherine Terrace. Matt, if you could go back to the survey, I guess that's the best.
All right, Tim. Got it.
It's hard to see from here, but the crosshatch area would be the addition. Full of the garage that's attached to the rear corner. And the only reason we're really here is because we have a bump out on the south portion of the site that was pre-existing. That's 3 feet. That wasn't there. We wouldn't need the variance. So we're basically trying to attach the garage, put a smaller second floor on it. Yeah, just to make it a lot more usable and hopefully.
Interesting. Does the board have any questions? Jane?
Yeah, really that the existing structure bumps out 3 feet, so we can't meet that stump with the addition. We try to keep the addition minimal as far as the garage size, just big enough to open doors, and smaller second floor to scale it back, so visually it's not. I believe the addition neighbors was distributed.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah. And I'll just state for the record that it looks like you got significant support from the neighbors.
Yeah, the neighborhood is a mix of detached and attached garages, so this wouldn't be anything at all out of place.
Okay. That petition is part of the record, so It's all set going forward. Katie, do you have any questions or, okay? Anybody in the room have the need to or desire to speak in favor of this application? Online? Hearing none. Anyone in opposition to this application, either online or in the room? Hearing none, the matter closes. We move on to number 6. That is the petition of 26 Edward Street, map 138, parcel 35. Petition of Sarah and Suresh Rahan for a variance of zoning regulations, section 5.2.5, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 20.1%, proposing 22.4%. Permission to remove the rear landing and stairs and construct a new rear deck.
I'm Michael
Mr. Sam.
Becker of Becker Construction in Fairfield. I'm here today representing Sarah and Suresh Rajan. Sarah's here today, the owner.
The chair reserves all right to pronounce names wrong.
I had to verify that one again too, so, because the spelling leads you to others. So my client is looking for a lot coverage variance increasing from 20.1 to 22.4. It is to remove the existing deck. Actually, it's a landing and steps. It's really not a deck, and construct a new deck and stairs. You want petitions? I didn't have petitions. You'll take those now. I also have copies and everything of pictures you could pass out so you can see what the existing. On the petitions, I'll make note, Sarah was diligent. There's apparently a lot of snowbirds and some were birds there. So she was working at it, a fair amount of approvals, and no opposition. So the purpose of going to the deck, and you'll see the picture of the yard now. They purchased this home in June of 2022. And so they dealt with some interior flaws from the builder that they inherited unbeknownst to them. And they're looking now to try to improve the backyard living space, get rid of what is an inordinate amount of patios. We're not even sure, actually, I think the patio was put in without permits and process, because if you look at the amount of water retention that is in the yard, does not look like it would be adequate at all from, just for the house alone. Assuming the survey is correct, there's 5 Caltex in there, 330s, that holds approximately 1,100 or so square feet of surface area in itself. So what they want to do is they actually want to bring grass back into the yard, get rid of the patio, and create the deck for the living space, which will also be elevated because they are also in a, they're in a very low topographical area, as you would see on the survey. It's not just an AE 11 flood zone, but their yard averages around 5.0 or so on the topo. So if you get any kind of water down in there, anything at the grade, short of trying to move it somewhere, and what you do with it in their furniture ends up in water. That's one of the problems. And of course, they have minimal area for their children to play in, what have you. So they're looking to have all grass, which you see now when you walk in that first shot where it looks from the gate back. They want to have grass in there. So they'll have a better use of that area. And by doing the deck, we can get everything for the outdoor living up onto the deck area. At the same time, if there is an issue, so first by going to grass, you will be able to retain water in there. And if there is an issue with the amount of drainage retention on the property, that'll be dealt with at the same time with the deck.
Okay.
Yes, I will point out too, and you can see it on the survey, but the lines of the deck are gonna be, actually the steps are right at that corner. The other corner lines up, so it's really not like protruding out, and there are no other setback issues at all, on the property, with the new deck. Somehow, by the way, this is a new survey and it came up at 20.1. I don't know if there's a variance in the past. We do think that there was some modifications done to the existing one. So in of itself, it's over the 20% coverage.
Any questions from the board? Questions? I'm going to ask if there is anyone here to speak in favor of the application. Online, seeing in the room, hearing none, I better be. I will look for opposition. Opposition to this application in the room or online. Seeing none, this matter is closed. Absolutely, thank you. On to number 7, 76 King Street, map 40, parcel 200. Petition of Rogerio Mendez for variances of the zoning regulation section 5.2.4 to reduce the street line setback from 30, currently 18.5 feet, proposing 21 feet. Permission to construct a second floor front dormer. Premises is A zone.
Good afternoon.
Yourself.
My name is Mariana Lage. I am the homeowner's agent here today. Can I hand out the petition?
Yes.
This is the original. Should I give you the original?
Original should go down to Jody and
I
Matt.
only have 4 copies, so should I?
That's okay. I'll forego my copy and share.
This is a very good quality paper, by the way. Just noticed that. Thank you. So we have a project to construct a second floor dormer and to renovate the front porch. We're not adding coverage on the street line, but we're doing the dormer, so it's like instead of being this way, it's this way. So then we have a pre-existing non-conforming condition, which puts us at 18.5 feet, where the setback is 30. And we're proposing 1.5 extra feet to be at 21. So then we can have the second floor dormer built and to renovate the front porch. So seen everybody talk a lot, but I I basically just have like the simple condition to propose. He just wants to do the dormer.
Short is never frowned upon.
Yes. So I'm just gonna give you guys the facts, which is he just wants to do the dormer and 1.5 extra feet.
So I actually want to clarify that then, Matt. This would actually be ameliorating the setback, would it not, Matt? This would actually be ameliorating the setback going from 18.5 feet back to 21 feet. Would that be? Yeah,
That's non-conforming.
yeah. So you're actually making it less non-conforming.
That's it. Really good.
It still is 18.
So is the call wrong? Okay. Because it's remaining 18.5 feet, wouldn't it have to stay that on the call? Doesn't matter.
Saying it's
It's a dormer. Okay, any questions for the board? From the board?
Just wanna, so if you're gonna state your hardship.
It's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. We're already at 18.5 and we're building up, so we have to follow the
And you're gonna make it less non-conforming.
less non-conforming.
Based on the call, that's what it says. Just have to read the call as it is. Okay, if there are no further questions from the board, I will request anyone in favor speak now. Hearing none. None online. Anyone here to object to this petition? either here or online. Lag a second. Hearing none, this matter is closed. And we are on to number 8 on our call. That is 403 Nonapog Road, map 72, parcel 165. Petition of Donna M. Bartolomeo for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.4 to reduce the sideline setbacks from 15 feet, currently 7.7 feet, proposing 13.1 feet. Permission to construct a one-story screen porch. Premises is R3 zone. Council, introduce
Mr.
yourself.
Chairman, members of the board, for the record, my name is Bill Fitzpatrick, attorney with the law firm of Russo and Rizzio. We have offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road. We're representing Donna and Tim DiBartolomeo, owners of property located at 403 Nonapog Road. He's a professional engineer. He and Donna work together. Their company is Sound Engineering Associates. They're waterfront and structural design professionals with offices in Fairfield and Oswego. They've lived in Fairfield for over 30 years. Tim has served on the Town of Fairfield Flood and Erosion Control Board. Property of the DiBartolomeos is located on the southerly side of Nonapog Road, located in the R3 zoning district, contains 21,392 square feet. Minimum lot area for the R3 zone is 20,000 square feet. Bartolomeos wished to reconfigure their existing deck at the rear of their property in a manner which provide access to the existing above ground swimming pool. Obtain a building permit for the proposed construction. During the course of construction, the applicants decided to enclose the deck and roof, making it a screened porch. Subsequently, they decided to make it a 3-season room. Issue of the side yard setback arose during the review. The construction plans for the 3-season room. It became clear that a small portion construction was within the 15-foot side yard setback applicable in the R3 zone, and that a variance was required. As a result, the applicants are requesting a variance from section 5.2 of the zoning regulations, reduction in the side property line setback from 15 feet, approved by prior variance to 7.03 feet, presently 7.7 feet, 13.1 feet in conjunction with the construction of 3-season room. The test for the granting of a variance is set forth in the Smith case, 174 Connecticut 326, 1978 case, which states regarding hardship, general statute, section 8.6, parents, 3N parents. The local zoning board may grant a variance if 2 basic conditions are met. One, the variance is shown not to affect substantially the comprehensive zoning plan. And 2, adherence to the strict letter of the zoning regulations is shown to cause unusual hardship necessary carrying out of the general purpose of the zoning plan. First part of the test, a substantial effect on the comprehensive plan here with the proposed use. The addition of a 3-season room to an existing single-family home is certainly a permitted use in the R3 zone. Second part of the test, adhering to the strict letter of the law will cause an unusual hardship. It's satisfied here by several factors. First factor is the lot configuration. The lot's narrow at the street, widens at the rear of the lot. As a result, the lot conforms to the total lot area. It's not 21,000 plus square feet, and 20,000 is required, but is legally non-conforming as to lot frontage. Frontage of 62.2 feet, when 100 feet is required, and it's legally non-conforming as to the minimum square. Square in the R3 zone is 100 feet, it's only 91 feet here. This lot configuration and the placement of the existing home, at the time of its construction in 1958, restricts the ability to improve this home given its location. The Zoning Board of Appeals, apparent recognition of this practical difficulty, approved the variance for the applicants in the year 2003, reducing the side yard setback from 15 feet to 7.03 feet. That variance permitted the construction of a second floor as well as a first floor wraparound porch, enlargement of the existing rear deck. The applicants did not understand that the new construction of this three-season room would be required to comply with the 15-foot setback. The property had received a variance to 7.03 feet, 2003. If this fact became known, construction within the side yard encroachment stopped. The board understands, and I understand, that a variance is specific for that construction. This construction, albeit 6 feet further away from the property line, would still require a variance. The board should note the encroachment in question is minimal, approximately 12 square feet. Also, the proposed side yard distance of over 13 feet for the proposed three-season room is significantly further than the prior side yard variance approval of 7.03 feet. Further, the construction of the three-season room did not extend beyond the existing sidewall of the home, but followed the existing sidewall. The extension actually utilized the footing that was already in place. This is not a case of overbuilding. The lot coverage will actually be reduced by this proposal and is 13.2% when 15% lot coverage is permitted. It's not a case that there's a overbuilding due to floor area ratio, because the FAR with construction is in place is 17.1% when 30% is permitted in the R3 zone. I did obtain signatures on a petition.
Thank you, counsel. Michael?
As you can see, vision, yellow colored area is the existing property. Property gates are the word signed off indicating they have no objection to this approval. We also included pictures showing the home before construction and then home under construction. You can see the deck already extended along that very same line. Included a copy of the building permit and a copy of the earlier variance for the record. I would submit that the set of circumstances here, the unusual lot configuration, unduly narrow, the ZBA prior approval of side property line variance to 7 feet, construction of a room at 13 feet when 7 feet was already approved by variance, minimal intrusion of 12 square feet, and we've demonstrated support from the neighbors for this proposal, comprise a classic hardship. Outline of this application be approved. If you Bartolomeos are here with me, they and I will be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
With that, does the board have any questions for Attorney Fitzpatrick?
No.
Hearing no questions from the board, I will ask if there's anyone here to speak in support of this application. Please feel free, introduce yourself, name and address.
My name is Ray White. I live at 415 Ottapog Road. I've been neighbors with the Bartolomeos for 26 years. My house is to the right of their house. I'm the closest to the variance request, and I have no opposition.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Online? Seeing no one else. Seeing no one else, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Here or online? For lag. Hearing no opposition, matter will be closed. On to number 9. Petition of number 40 Robin Lane, map 125, parcel 245. Petition of Kevin and Sue Thomas for a variance of the zoning regulation section 5.2.4 to reduce the rear setback from 30 feet currently 14.6 feet, proposing 14.1 feet. Permission to construct a one-story addition with deck and chimney. Premises is A zone.
I'm Sue.
Yes.
I'm new to this, so please
That's okay.
bear with me. I'm Sue Thomas. I'm the owner of Morty House. And our hardship is not our growing family. Our hardship is that on the left side of our house, we have an easement, which is town's water pipe goes through the backyard, so we cannot do any construction on that side of the house. And so I think there is a variance on the deck. So on the pre-existing deck that where we're gonna do the bump out. So we just want to do a bump out where the pre-existing deck is now. And that's really all we want to do. We got signatures. There is one signature that we did not get because he is sick. Neither my husband and I feel okay because he's older, and we did speak to his family and they were like, he'll be home soon, and he's home, but we just don't feel right. But everybody was notified by mail. We spoke to the other neighbors behind us on the other side of us across the street. They're all in favor. We're really not, you know, but we'll be fine with that.
Okay. With that, do we have any questions from the board?
Nothing?
Don't be disappointed.
Oh.
Don't be disappointed. Okay, so with no questions from the board, do I have anybody in the room here to speak in favor of the application or online? Seeing none. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this application, either here or online? Oh, go ahead, Jane.
Just looking carefully at your site plan, and it says existing conditions is 14.6. And the proposed conditions is 14.6. But the goal is to change it to 14.1, so one or the other is not match. I don't know what the difference.
Did you say you were just replacing the footprint of the deck with the addition? So can we guess that this is a misprint and it's going 14.1? Okay.
See it here.
You see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little,
It's literally that little bump out. Yeah, it's a blip.
used to be a proofreader.
I bring logistics.
It's 0.5.
It's 0.5. It's literally 0.5. We'll discuss it later. Seeing either no opposition or anyone here to speak in favor, the matter is now closed.
Wait, do I find out today if I get something?
Yes.
If I say,
Absolutely.
and so I just want to say, I do have 3 kids, so if I leave, I'm not going back.
If you do leave, just make sure that you,
No, but I know you said we are in favor of people staying, but it is just because I need to go home.
no, we don't require anybody. It has no bearing whatsoever on your case. It's just a matter of if for any reason you voted against it, you would be able to hear our reasoning, which you'd be able to hear online or read in the record going forward.
Thank you.
That's number 9. Now we are on to number 10, which has been continued to January 4th. And we are on to number 11, 127 Roland Road, map 182. You guys good, Katie? Okay. It's all right. I just want to make sure we're not missing something on a.
Clarifying.
Okay. So I'm gonna start the call one more time. Council, sorry about that. 127 Roland Road, map 182, parcel 18, petition of Joseph McBride for a variance of the zoning regulation, section 5.2.5, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 20.6%, proposing 22.5%. Permission to extend existing garage and add landings and stairs to rear of house. Premises is A zone.
Chairman, members of the commission, Raymond Rizzio, with an office at 10 Sasko Hill Road. I'm here before you representing Joseph McBride with regard to the property at 127 Roland Road. If I could just, I'm going to give you a few handouts which will make this easier to explain. We're seeking a coverage, increase in coverage up to 22.5%, but I want to make it clear there will be no habitable increase in any kind of livable area. I'm going to, the McBrides bought this property. It was built in 1930, and then in 1965 was dedicated, donated to the Congregational Church. And I don't think anything was ever done to the house since 1965. So our clients have been engaged for the better part of a year of improving the property. Let me give you a couple elevations for the garage. Explain what's happening. So, as you can see, both the clients have a great job in front. Just want to show you the front of the property. It's been renovated. What had happened was, and they didn't realize when they bought the house, there was a large deck that used to go, and it was more, it was, as you can see, it was off the ground. It was a walkout that used to go between these stairs. They tore the deck down. It was in complete disrepair. Not realizing once they tore the deck down that their whatever non-conforming variance, non-conforming benefit they would have had of that deck goes away. So now they've got, this deck is down. They want to put a patio down there, but they've got these stairs which were put in years and years ago, and you'll see it in the picture, which are pretty much very difficult to negotiate, not really up to code. And what they would like to do is basically, as I said, not increase any livable area. They want to just put a small landing and then better stairs down to what will end up being a patio. Additionally, on the other side, they want to, once again, as you can see how steep those stairs are, they just want to take the stairs, a couple steps down to a landing, couple steps down to a patio. We would agree to a condition of approval that these areas that are extended would not become converted into habitable area. I know there's always been a concern with the commission when you increase coverage, you increase the ability to add to the site. In this instance, I don't see there. We feel very strongly about it. We don't feel there's any risk to it, and we don't think this increase of coverage. If this property was not in the flood zone, property would be sitting on the ground, and there'd be no issue with regard to the stairs or the access. With regard to the garage is barely 20 feet wide. It's a two-car garage. It's on the second page. You can barely get in the garage. As you can see, it's a narrow driveway back against the house. It's very important to be able to put two cars in a garage that can fit, so that if you had to put one car and leave it in the driveway, there'd be very difficult getting in and out. They want to make it a very modest addition. It's a 6-foot extension, so the garage will basically be 20 by 26. It'll give them the ability to adequately put on cars and negotiate a way out of the property. I've given you, if you can see, this is not near any neighbors, doesn't bother any neighbors, and we've had sign-offs by all our neighbors. So basically, they just want to extend it 6 feet so they can broaden the doors and allow for a more comfortable ability to get in and out of the garage when you have an extremely tight driveway that is pre-existing and has been there for 90 years. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's not an oversized garage. It's not a 3-car garage. It is a very basic 2-car garage. Not even building anything in for additional storage. These are the elevations of the two, and of both doors, and the rear elevation. We have talked to the neighbors on both sides, and I will give you a petition signed by both neighbors, and our neighbor to the rear. Let's get that out for you. Somewhere, I apologize. So the first Single signature is the neighbor to the rear, who's really the only one with the garage, but this also backs up. It's a very big lot. These lots back up onto Old Orchard. You know, Old Orchard, those lots are all exceed an acre. And this would back up, our garage would back up to their garage and doesn't anywhere interfere, and they're supporting the application. The neighbors on both sides have also signed a petition, as the stairs are really more of a safety issue. The stairs are brought about, and the increase in stairs brought about due to the fact that the house is elevated, given the fact that it's in a flood zone. And basically to make for a more safe way to exit and enter the property. And had they not torn the deck down, I probably wouldn't be here today. But these things happen. From a hardship standpoint, it's a health and safety issue. It's a topographic issue because the house is elevated. You need to get down. You need to get down safely. Same thing with the garage. You need to be able to negotiate a two-car garage to get in and out of the garage. It's a very tight lot. This is not, we don't believe in excessive use. I think it's consistent with the master plan. It's approved, it's received the approval of its neighbors. And we would respectfully request you grant this application. And I said it with the condition, because I know the board is very sensitive to increases in coverage. We would agree both the staircases will not be, as a condition of approval, they would not be converted into livable space. And that's my presentation.
So
And
I'm going to take the first question.
Sure.
Conditions notwithstanding, conditional approvals notwithstanding, was the condition of not making any of this livable space forwarded to the neighbors? In other words, did they approve or agree with you as you were presenting this to the neighbors?
I just
that condition.
No, but I'm adding that as an additional protection for the commission. I don't think the
Understood.
neighbors aren't concerned about they're happy to see the staircase. They're happy to have the clients have a safe way to enter and exit their home.
Understood. And I slightly differ with the previous chair that if a condition that based on the way the plans are written doesn't afford livable space and you'd have to change the drawings in any way, come back to us again. The condition is appreciated, but I want to make sure that it was not presented to any of the neighbors as to gain their approval.
My client explained that they were doing a modest expansion of the garage, which you can see, and that was to get, navigable stairs up and down to a patio. There would be no way to get a patio. As I said, they tore down a pre-existing non-conforming deck. Made the mistake of not, of losing your coverage when you do that. And that's why we're back in front of you. But I just wanted to make it clear so that Commission, I know the Commission clear. There's no agenda here. It's just specifically a health and safety issue, a topography issue, and with those, there's adequate hardship to grant this application.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
When the maximum lot coverage for this zone is 20%.
Correct.
You're asking to go to 22.5.
Correct.
It's currently at 20.6. Did that include the non-conforming deck?
That included when we went to do the survey and did all the stairs and everything that were left. That's what was there, and then went forward with the building permit. So, but any other additions, he took the deck down. That was not included.
Deck was probably built without a permit. You don't know that. But if they had
I can
kept,
tell you, nothing had been done in that house. I mean, they've had to rearrange all different things. Nothing had been done in that house probably since the 60s.
but I just want to ask another question, because they took it down, but if it had never been a permitted use, even if they didn't take it down, you wouldn't be able to just rebuild it. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If it's pre-existing non-conforming, you can. And then typically on certain setback issues and other issues, there's a statute of limitations that goes back if it's been in existence for more than 9 years.
Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Okay.
But based on the current conditions and the call, it doesn't have any effect on
Right, okay.
on what we're looking at today.
We're not getting anything except an additional 6 feet on a garage and safely navigable stairs down to a patio.
Correct.
And there's really no other way to access your backyard without creating safe stairs because of the topography of the property, which slopes from front to back.
Go ahead, Jane.
So just just want to be clear about this. To leave the existing garage exactly where it is and you're just going to add to it? or
6
tear
feet,
it down?
add 6 feet, change the, clean up the doors. He's already had to clean up the roof. You're gonna clean the whole piece up. Nothing is gonna move except that if you're facing it, it
Right.
moves 6 feet to the right in the same roof line, same exact
Tearing it down to foundation and stuff,
100%.
because you're only 2.5 feet. I don't think so.
Correct. And they're not gonna make the mistake of tearing it down and come back for you again. So they're gonna extend it. So they're the rear is 4 feet, which is, I think you have to be, and they're keeping that line.
Right, but the 3.7 and 3.9.
They're not going anywhere near that.
See where it is.
100%. Yep.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Are there plans to open the driveway to accommodate the additional 6 feet? And has that been approved? Does it need to be approved?
The only thing they may need to do is go to engineering if they expand the paved area to make sure that they have compensatory storage in the ground. So in other words, whenever you add any kind of, in the flood zone, if you add any type of impervious area, you then have to provide compensatory storage. Or if you put gravel, you don't have to worry about that. I haven't made a decision, but that all has to go through the permit process.
Okay, any other questions? Any other clarifications? Standing. That being said, is anyone in person or online here to speak in favor of this application? Hearing none, is anyone here or online here to speak in opposition to this application? People on there that haven't spoken, so I just want to make sure. Just have fans today. We have spectators today. Okay, with that, I'm going to call this matter to a close. I will ask the board if you guys need 5 minutes. What's that? Oh, and with that, the public hearing is closed. Have one last time.
Well done.
Yay, thanks. We made it through our first one. Now we just have to get to our votes. Does anyone here need 5 minutes? No more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Okay. We're gonna take 5 minutes because I gotta hit the ballot.
That's why you asked.
That's what, well, if, Kitty? You. We are going to call to order our executive session. Just remind everyone that has so dutifully remained that this is not a time for comment. This is a time for the board to deliberate and go through each of the applications as presented. The continued docket number 14 was continued to January 4th. Number 4 was withdrawn. And general docket number 1, the call of 92 Shoreham Village Drive, map 130, parcel 217, petition of Prime Time Properties for a variance of zoning regulations 5.2.4 to reduce the street line setback from 30 feet, currently 21.6 feet, proposing 28.6 feet. Permission to construct a second floor dormer. Premises is A zoned. I need a motion to hear the application. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Katie, second.
Jane.
Jane seconds. And Jody, you record who does all the voting, right? I don't have to. No one wants my records. All right. Hear any comments, discussion? Go ahead, Jane.
We confirmed that the hardship was that it's a pre-existing non-conforming undersized lot. And even with the proposed work, it still remains under coverage and under the FAR.
And there, looks to be that they're, I mean, I understand that the bump out is still within the 21.6, but they're on the call ameliorating the setback by 7 feet. Which I don't necessarily entirely understand because they're only going up, but So call for a vote. Harold? Approve. Go yay or nay. How's that sound?
Yay.
Be a little old school here in Fairfield. Jane?
Yay, yes.
Yay?
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 Oh, yay.
Yay?
Yeah.
Yay. Have a little something old, a little something new with a new chairman. Why not? Motion passes. That application is approved. Laughing.
Sorry.
Move this meeting to 7 o'clock and screw it. All right, so that motion passes. Do I need to gavel every one of them? I don't think so. All right, number 2, petition of 1220 Fairfield Beach Road, map 184, parcel 222. Petition of Colin and Karen Hagan for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 11.1, 11.1, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 18.3%, proposing 22.5%, permission to construct a rear deck with stairs. Premises is BD zone. Need a motion to approve? Yes.
It's section 11-11.10.
11.10. Oh, I do apologize. I always forget with the decimals, if it's 10 or just one up. Okay. So it's 10. Good. Need a second?
10 seconds.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have Katie made the motion, Jane seconds. Discussion, please.
They lost the ability to use some of their property because of the easements, so
Yeah.
that's kind of a hardship.
I think that was defined as the most classic hardship in our last session. A public easement reduces their ability to use their own land.
And it's also pre-existing non-conforming lot, so it's smaller.
It's smaller by a significant amount, correct? Smaller. Okay, any other discussion? Harold, lead us off.
Yay.
Jane?
Yes, yay.
Katie?
Yes.
Any way you like.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Application approved. Yay. Number 3 is continued to January 4th. Number 4, the petition of 510 Mill Hill Road, map 228, parcel 10, petition of Matthew Jariga for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.5, to increase lot coverage from 10%, currently 9.81%, proposing 11.18%. Permission to construct a 2-story addition to attach the existing detached garage to the primary dwelling. Premises A zone. You remember that this one had the shed that's already part of the coverage. Discussion, please.
So am I correct that this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot?
You are correct in that assumption.
That would make,
I need a motion to approve first.
To approve.
I just got excited. Second? Anybody?
Second.
Harold seconds. Okay,
should I say it again?
you should say it again one last time.
So this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot,
That is correct.
which would make this hardship
Valid.
valid. Okay.
Yep, that's the standing for the hardship.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Further discussion. Harold?
Yay.
Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries, is approved unanimously. What's that? I just don't want to knock it over. He seems so concerned with his condition. We are now on number 5. Petition of 301 Catherine Terrace, map 182, parcel 344. Petition of Gerald Soltis and Leanne Sterling for a variance of the zoning regulation section 5.2.4 to reduce the sum of 2 sideline setbacks from 20 feet, currently 31.1 feet, proposing 17 feet. Permission to construct a 2-story and 2nd floor addition. Premises is B zone. This is the one that has the 3-foot bump out that goes into the set. Motion to approve?
To approve.
Motion Motion to approve. Okay, Katie, and we have a second. Christina? And do we have discussion?
So they're removing a garage that's 3.1 feet away. So that's a reduction.
That's a reduction. Yeah.
And they're putting back an addition that's 6.5 feet away, which is not conforming. So the effect is still to reduces one nonconformity but creates another nonconformity. But is the new nonconformity less bad than the one that they're taking away? I think so.
I think so. I would agree. And it's,
Yeah.
So it appears that they're still reducing the setback overall.
I wouldn't say that.
Rear setback. Well, it
It's,
says here,
it's just not part of the,
reduce the sum of the two sideline setbacks from 20 feet, currently 31, proposing 17 feet.
It needs to be
Right.
20,
it needs to be 20.
but they want to do this.
But there's a bump out that's existing bump out that sits 3 feet into the setback.
I see. Thank you for correcting.
I think it's in a different part, but, yeah, but still part of the property. So we'll go to a vote. Harold?
Oh, here.
I vote yay.
Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. That carries and it is passed unanimously. On to number 6. 26 Edward Street, map 138, parcel 35, petition of Sarah and Suresh Rajan, as I now have learned, for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.5, to increase the lot coverage from 20%, currently 20.1%, proposing 22.4%. Permission to remove the rear landing and stairs and construct a new rear deck. I have a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Katie?
I second.
Harold seconds. Discussion, please. Jane?
I am still unclear what the hardship is. This is, what they're doing will do nice things. It takes off all that deck and creates more permeable
Yes.
land, but ultimately they want what they want, but there's no particular hardship.
It's a,
I thought would the FEMA compliance make it a hardship?
No, because it has to be unique. It can't be like with the whole neighborhood.
it's a very nominal increase.
There is a drainage easement on this property, if I remember correctly.
I think they will.
There's a 10-foot drainage easement here.
Here,
Yes.
here, okay. So
So-
how does that create a hardship?
I think doesn't that 10 feet reduce the buildability of their lot by 10 feet?
That's a question for Mr.
Yeah.
Decker.
Matt? Does that easement affect the buildability of their lot and therefore necessitate a hardship?
Size.
Doesn't reduce the size?
Use the buildable size because it's an underground easement.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that the benefit of if you look at this, that's a lot of impermeable surface.
Yes.
So I personally think for that de minimis
Yes.
amount of coverage, that the benefit of removing all of that permeable surface outweighs that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would,
Impermeable.
impervious,
Impervious.
like I've been called many times.
But is that in our purview
It
to look
is.
at things as impervious? Like if we see something that increases it environmentally, we should be weighing that in our decisions?
So we have the purview as a board to decide on both factors, the hardship being something of a gray area, whether or not this has any drastic effect on the comprehensive zoning plan or improves the conditions of either the neighborhood or the surrounding area. I would say that this application does none of one and plenty for the other. I don't think there's any risk to the surrounding area. They have support from all the neighbors. There was no objection to anyone in the neighborhood, and they are certainly creating a benefit of improved water retention and drainage for the area. So the answer to your question is yes, we do have the purview, as I understand it, to approve such a variance. And I will, unless there are any other comments, I will call for a vote as such. Yay. Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
No.
Yes. Motion carries. That is passed. And I would be remiss, and I was remiss at the start of my voting, start of this session, to just key everyone in the room in. In order for an approval, there is a requirement of a supermajority. You must receive 4 votes in order for a permit to be granted, in order for a variance to be granted. If you get 3, don't get 2, good. You have to have 4. You have to get 4 out of 5. And as we discussed earlier in this board, if there were only 4 voting members, you'd have to get them all. Just so there's understanding in the room. We are now on number 8. I'm sorry, number 7. Wouldn't want to skip anybody. 76 King Street, map 40, parcel 200. Petition of Ruggiero Mendez for a variance of the zoning regulation section 5.2.4 to reduce the street line setback from 30 feet, currently 18.5 feet, proposing 1 feet. Permission to construct a 2nd floor front dormer, premises A zone. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Jane moves to approve. Second?
A second.
Captain seconds. Everybody's name right by the end of this thing, I promise. And discussion, please.
This is Harold. As I understand, this is a non-conforming lot. And the current setback is 18.5 and the proposing 1 feet. But that's still within the 30-foot setback.
And it actually ameliorates the current nonconformity by 2.5 feet, doesn't it?
We still have.
Carries it, well, I'm going by the call. I understand that on the drawing, there's still a section that's 18.5 feet, but
So this part.
on the call, it drops it back to 21 feet. So we have comment? Bring to a vote. Harold? Hey. Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
I say yes. Motion carries unanimously. Now I can, with permission, go to number 8. That's how things go. We are now at 403 Nonapog Road, map 72, parcel 165, petition of Donna M. Bartolomeo for a variance of the zoning regulation, section 5.2.4, to reduce the sideline setback from 15 feet, currently 7.7 feet, proposing 13.1 feet. Permission to construct a 1-story screen porch, premises R3 zone. Do I have a motion to approve?
To approve.
Katie, second.
Seconds.
Jane seconds. This will note that a gentleman who is not here anymore stepped up to approve. He was the closest neighbor. There were no objections from Peanut Gallery or the general public. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Mr. Decker?
Absolutely. Mr. Decker,
So-
a question.
In this presentation, attorney talked about deck, screen porch, 3-season room. What is the distinction according to zoning regulations between those 3 coverage areas? Is it all one and the same? So coverage is coverage no matter if it's a deck or screen porch or a 3-season enclosed space.
Right. Once it becomes enclosed, it becomes part of the FAR.
Right. Is the screen porch part of the FAR? Screen porch is, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Let's bring it to a vote. Harold?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes. Yes.
Brian says yes, that carries unanimously. Let's see here, we are now on number 9. Petition of 40 Robin Lane, map 125, parcel 245. Petition of Kevin and Sue DeThomas, variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.4, to reduce the rear setback from 30 feet, currently 14.6 feet, proposing 14.1 feet. Permission to construct a 1-story addition with deck and chimney. Premises is A zone. And do I have a motion to approve?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Harold has the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
10 seconds.
Jane seconds. Discussion, please.
As I understand it, this is a second floor addition. That's going to,
Nope.
No, it's a 1-story addition.
1-story addition, I'm sorry, yes. But still, this is less than, the build out is going to be less than current setback of 46 feet. Is that correct?
That difference of 6 inches is because of the fireplace bump out on the
Yep.
corner. That's all it is. That's that.
Oh, okay. They're looking for 6 inches.
Well,
And it's still within the rear setback of 30 feet. So ameliorating setback.
Based on the call, yes, it is, they're looking for,
push 6.
they want to push 6 inches into it, but that looks like it goes the other direction. Bring it to a vote.
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes. Yes.
Brian says yes, and that passes unanimously. Number 10 on our docket was continued to January 4th. We move to number 11, 127 Roland Road, map 182, parcel 18. Petition of Joseph McBride for a variance of the zoning regulations, section 5.2.5, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 20.6%, proposing 22.5%, permission to extend existing garage and add landings and stairs to the rear of house. Premises is A zone. Now, I'm going to note, and I pretty much see how this goes, but I'm going to note that a condition of approval that no space added to this residence will be considered or built to be habitable space was offered by council. I am, however, first going to call it as written. What's that? Oh. I don't necessarily have to, do I?
That's being clear.
Because it was offered.
Yeah. So you can call for approval based on
So I,
the offerance of the condition.
but I can also call for it as written, can I? Because I don't have to require a condition of him.
No,
If,
that would be discussed amongst you and the board. That's correct. If you wish to go that route.
right, so
So
that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So do we discuss that before you call it?
We're gonna discuss that before.
Okay.
So what,
Well, okay, I'm confused. We don't have to bring it forward yet?
no, so what I'm stating, what I'm bringing to the board, what I'm bringing to the board, and we're gonna discuss prior to bringing it with his condition, is do we think as a board that that condition is needed? Is it necessary? Based on what I see as 2 simple factors, nothing that their drawings or anything that they've shown would represent a habitable space. And anything that they would build beyond the request of this application would require another variance. So are we requiring a condition for no reason? And changing the call for generally no reason?
appears to me that the only construction issue that could relate to change in the plan would be to make a second level in the garage, but there's nothing indicating that in the plans.
No, right.
So I don't know that we have to stipulate that. And I will say at this point that I do agree from the photos and the diagrams that the having walk out from the house onto such steep steps is a safety issue. I agree with that.
So we'll get into that in the main discussion. But I'm going to,
We're deciding
so
what
we're deciding what we're asking to approve.
Okay.
And I think that we should offer this call without the requirement of the condition.
Should we vote on that?
Yeah, I'll put that to a simple vote, just by acclamation, yay or nay. Harold,
Yay.
Jane,
Can you state what we're saying?
just say that we're either, if you, yes means we're gonna call it as it's written without the offerance of a condition. Nay means that you would like the condition offered
Okay,
or required. Okay, so Harold voted yay. Jane,
yes.
Katie,
Yes.
yay. Okay, so we are going to read the call as written without the offerance of a condition. So the call is as follows: 127 Roland Road, map 182, parcel 18, petition of Joseph McBride for a variance of zoning regulations, section 5.2.5, to increase lot coverage from 20%, currently 20.6%, proposing 22.5%, permission to extend existing garage and add landings and stairs to the rear of the house, premises A zone. I have a motion to approve.
To approve.
Second,
Jane seconds.
Jane seconds. Discussion, please.
I did not hear the word hardship at all.
What I heard was the hardship was health and safety, but is that,
And also topography.
yeah, but health and safety, is that a hardship? No.
No, but
Health and-
topography, I understand, is good for the steps, but a garage can't. How does FEMA, I mean, the garage is on the ground.
So-
But, unless you have to have floods.
So are we gonna make them come back to present a new case that you can't alter it, right? Then we would have to have them come back and present a new case just for the stairs, not for the garage.
Well, I'm looking at, yeah, that's true.
I would,
Just want to say one more thing. The area that they're adding for the landings is almost identical to the area that they're proposing to add to the garage. So, if they had just come for the garage, we probably wouldn't be needing a variance.
but I would say that, I'd make two, counsel, I'm just gonna ask you to hold back, all right? What I would state in this case, which is similar to what we stated before, the impact to the general zoning plan, impact to the property, impact to the neighborhood is de minimis in this case. To steel, it's non-existent. It's quite literally invisible to the neighbors, as the garage exists behind another garage. The stairs exist at the rear of the house. They do virtually nothing to hurt the aesthetic either of the home or the neighborhood. And it makes the home safer. Go ahead, Harold.
You should also remember that it was mentioned that there was a structure back of the house. Was it a patio or?
Yeah, they removed a patio, which took away their hardship.
Not, yeah.
Well, but that has nothing to do with it.
Wait, it's-
It took away it doesn't matter.
I get it. For me, I'd look at it like, you're talking about, if you look at just the garage piece, that's 0.1%. And they're not asking for increase in their coverage, their FAR, any of they're being respectful of all the setbacks. It's a very small request.
I think that what they've done here has been done with consideration of the neighbors, has been done with consideration of anything that we would ask of an applicant on this type of application. And the topography does allow for hearing of a variance if that gets us into the full call. So I'm gonna go ahead and without, if there's any other comment, go ahead, Jane.
So the existing garage is 20 feet wide. There are plenty of two-car garages everywhere that are 20 feet wide. So this is, I think, a lot bigger. There's no,
I don't, and my comment to that would be that I don't think they're building something gaudy, if you will. I think they're building something that's more functional and serviceable. If you look at how narrow their drive up to it is, I think it'll provide them an easier angle to exit and enter their property in the garage. It's a funky turn into that garage. So giving them width will allow them a better turning radius coming in and out of that right-hand parking space.
Also a place to hang the rakes.
I'm more worried about them knocking the garage down with whatever they're driving into it. But with that, if there are no further comment, I would call for a vote. Harold? Jane?
you know,
Katie?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries and that application has passed. With that, I draw to a close very quietly with my gavel one last time, the hearing.